After the birth of the 5 sons, they were collectively known as the Pandavas, which means the sons of Pandu. They grew up together in the forest and became inseparable, with their mothers, Kunti and Madri, taking care of them equally. One day, King Pandu went wandering in the woods with his wife Madri. The season was spring, and the forest was filled with blooming flowers and the sounds of birds singing. Pandu, overwhelmed by the beauty of the surroundings and the atmosphere, became attracted to his wife. He forgot about the curse placed on him by Rishi Kindama and, driven by passion, he forcefully embraced Madri. Although Madri tried to resist, she was unable to stop him. Unfortunately, Pandu lost his life due to the curse. Madri, heartbroken, cried loudly and called out to Kunti for help. When Kunti heard the cries, she hurried to the place and saw Pandu's lifeless body. In shock and sorrow, Kunti collapsed to the ground. Madri explained to Kunti what had happened, how she had tried to stop Pandu, but ultimately could not. Kunti, as the eldest wife, realized that it was her duty to take responsibility of the sati custom, an ancient Indian tradition where wife gives up her life on the same day as her husband's death. Madri, however, stopped her and said that if anyone was to blame for what had happened, it was her. She also said that it wouldn't be possible for her to raise the children with this guilt. She requested Kunti to raise her sons as her own and take care of the children. Madri jumped into the same funeral pyre alongside Pandu and gave up her life. Both Pandu and Madri passed away, leaving Kunti alone and helpless in the wild forest of Satasringa. Long ago, before his death, Pandu had shared a secret with his sons. He said that after spending many years in the forest meditating, he has acquired great wisdom and knowledge which he would like to pass on to his sons. Hence, he told his sons that when he died, they should eat his flesh and they would inherit all the wisdom and knowledge. However, when his sons cremated his body, they did not follow his instructions. The youngest of the sons, Sahadeva, noticed that some ants were carrying a small piece of his father's body. Unable to resist, he took that piece and ate it. In an instant, he gained all the knowledge of the world, everything that had happened in the past and everything that would happen in the future. Excited, he ran to share the news with his mother and brothers, but as he was on his way, a stranger stopped him. The stranger told Sahadeva not to share this incredible knowledge with anyone. Instead, he was advised to answer any questions by responding with another question. Sahadeva soon realized that the stranger was no ordinary person, but the Supreme Lord himself. He agreed to the stranger's advice and chose to remain silent, even though he knew all the events that were going to take place. He lived a life in which he refrained from speaking, despite his ability to foresee everything that would happen. Over time, Sahadeva discovered that he could interpret the future by observing nature and the movements of the celestial bodies. This led him to develop various mystical sciences which people could use to predict the future. For the rest of his life, Sahadeva waited for others to ask him the right questions, and he became known as a silent and thoughtful person, always pondering the events unfolding around him. However, it is important to note that this version of the story is not mentioned in the Vyasa Bharata. Instead, it is a popular version of the tale that is believed by many. After the death of King Pandu, the rishis in the forest gathered to discuss the future of Kunti and her sons. The rishis decided that Kunti and her children should move to Hastinapura, where they could be taken care of by grandfather Bhishma and the elders of the Kuru family. Kunti agreed and started their journey towards Hastinapura, accompanied by the rishis. It took them 17 days to travel from the Satasringa mountains to Hastinapura. They crossed some of the major places like Chaitraratha, Nagasata and Kalakuta, which is today's Haridwar, Roorkee and Muzaffarnagar. When they finally arrived at the gates of Hastinapura, the Kuru court, led by Bhishma, Dhritarashtra and Vidura, came forward to welcome them. The citizens of Hastinapura also gathered to see the sons of Pandu. who were already being recognized for their divine qualities. The rishis explained Pandu's demise and shared the news of his 5 sons. They also explained the children were born through the blessings of gods and possessed exceptional qualities that would help strengthen the kingdom. The rishis requested that the final rites of Pandu be performed with dignity and left. Dhritarashtra and Vidura then organized the funeral rites and ensured that charity was given to the needy. They took the ashes of Pandu and Madri to the banks of the Ganges, where the final rites were performed and the ashes were scattered in the river. The entire kingdom mourned the loss of their king for 12 days. One day, after the Shraddha ceremony, a ritual for honoring ancestors, Vyasa spoke to Satyavati. He warned her that the days of happiness for the Kuru family were coming to an end and the dynasty would face destruction. He advised her to leave the palace and focus on devotion to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, protector of all. Vyasa advised her to go into the forest and meditate to prepare herself for the challenges ahead. Taking Vyasa's advice to heart, Satyavati, along with Ambika and Ambalika, left the palace and went to the forest. There, they practiced meditation and devotion, and as they grew old, they entered the divine realm, Vaikuntha. Did you know there's a Satyavati temple in Palpa district of Nepal, which is very popular and is situated near the Satyavati lake? Leave a comment if you think it's the same Satyavati from Mahabharata or a different one. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If yes, please like, share, and subscribe.